go. All right, first question. Who here knows what a VTuber is? Okay, we've got some hands up, got some hands down. Good, good. I can see some familiar faces from the autographs earlier today. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mika Akatsuka. I am an Australian VTuber who likes to play things like Apex and Minecraft and whatever the heck I want, really. I am known as blah, 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 blah. I know how to speak. I am known as a variety streamer, so I basically look at games that I think I'll enjoy and I'll try them out. And if I really like them, then I will probably get addicted to them, like Apex. Haha. But there are lots of different kinds of VTubers. There are VTubers who have different addictions, such as my good friend who was here and has a panel a bit later, Zane. She is addicted to Final Fantasy, which I hear there's a few people also addicted to that. But yeah, there's lots of different kinds. There's like art streamers, there's people who do lots of educational type stuff, and we all kind of do our own thing. We do things with other streamers too. We do collaborations where we do streams together. And we basically have a fun time. And, there's lots that goes on with streaming. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to kind of give everyone, so that everyone is kind of at least on the same playing field, I'm going to give a little bit of a breakdown of what a VTuber is, some information about, like, words you might hear. And then I also have some videos that I've recorded or I've taken from streams to kind of, including, as you can see, my model moves, right? So the person who did the work to make me move has graciously let me use some of his working files to show you the kind of work that goes into making a VTuber, because it's a lot of hard work. The people who did my model, they did so much hard work for me to make everything work, so now I look as fabulous as I do. So I'm going to be switching back and forth between a couple different things. So please excuse me if I fumble, because this is not my usual setup. My normal setup is currently very far away in Australia because I can't really lug a big black box full of cables and lights and so on. So they've got me set up here with good grace by the convention. So what we'll talk about first is, and I forgot to say, if you have any questions, you can see there's a microphone up in the middle. So do feel free to come up to there. We have one of the con staff who will double check to make sure you're not asking me anything that might get me arrested or might get you arrested. We don't want that either way. So if you have any questions, feel free to come up. If you want to ask towards the later, that's fine too. If you have something that's like a burning question as I'm going through stuff, absolutely feel free to come up. So, first things first, what is a VTuber? So, if you don't know, VTuber is actually short for virtual YouTuber. It's kind of what we use, but it's not something that every VTuber uses. Some VTubers use other terms, but a VTuber is basically just someone who creates content and they have an avatar. The avatar is very expensive and it moves around a lot, but it's similar to how you might see like big YouTubers, how they have their own, like they use their own icons, or they have their face cams, but they have like a particular style. Same sort of thing. It's just that you could do different things with a VTuber model that you can do with a face cam. And some people don't want to use a face cam. Like I personally don't use a face cam because I have more freedom to do what I want with my design. So a lot of YouTubers tend to be, but not always, anime adjacent. So especially because there's so many VTubers design-wise now and content-wise, you could see anything. I have seen like someone who's like a lamp. There's lots of free models that get given out too. So there's someone who's made like a feet VTuber that you can you can play around with. You can get like lamps. You can get, like, I saw someone's like a chicken nugget. There's like someone who's like a little duck, and then you have the cat boys, the cat girls, like me. I'm a cat boy and a vampire. But you also have so Zane, who is also here, is a necromancer. And then you have Girl DM, who's also another guest here. She's also a cat girl, although she's like an only cat girl now because of her new outfit. And you basically can be as creative as you want, or you don't even have to be like super creative. Like some people go for a more simplistic attire, more simplistic design, because sometimes simple is elegant too, and you just have the ability to do whatever you want. VTubers also kind of produce all kinds of content. So there's a lot that are more for all ages, and then there are some that do the not safe for work content. So you have other platforms that they tend to use for that, because obviously you can't do that on platforms such as Twitch or YouTube, which is where a lot of YouTubers are, at least in the Western sphere. But it really varies. Like there's so many different things you can try and you can do when you are a VTuber, and it mostly just boils down to what your passion is, what you like to do. Like for me, for example, at the moment, I'm not doing it right now, but once I move back to Australia after this convention, well, I said move. I didn't move here. I came here. But anyway, I will be doing more hand cam streams. So I actually have a lot of craft stuff that I want to be doing. So I'm going to be using, like, setting up my phone as a camera and actually doing a lot of craft related content, as well as like video games and things like that. There's some VTubers that are under agency. So I'm an independent VTuber. I am all by myself in terms of specifically me. I'm in a group with my friends, but we don't have like a manager who tells us, hey, can you read out this ad and get paid for it? Or, hey, can you play this game on stream? So there are VTubers that do that. They're usually under a particular agency. You might be familiar with the names like HoloLive or maybe Niji Sanji, Vshoujo, Production Kawaii. There's a lot of them. There's quite a lot of different agencies. There's like small agencies, and then, for example, HoloLive and Niji Sanji, who are two of the biggest ones, they will have 50 or 100 or more talents. So it's very different, and the way things work are very different. So they have a lot of rules. It's basically like a job. So they get given the assets that they need to create the content, and independents have more freedom, but they don't have those kinds of resources. Some companies even have their own VTubers as well. So a good example that you might be familiar with is Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has their own VTuber. There's a couple others that have come and gone here and there, but that's it's like VTubers can have all sorts of jobs, right? And a lot of people are kind of tuning into realizing that VTubing is actually a really interesting thing, a really popular thing, a great way for people to do stuff. I mean, I think if anyone's familiar with Rooster Teeth, who do things like Ruby, they had Ruby, who's one of their characters, become a VTuber for one of the other conventions here in the US. So there's like a lot that happens in the world of VTubers. And the thing is, not all VTubers are streamers either. There's quite a few who actually do long form content, like on YouTube. So they do like recorded stuff, they do script work. There are some VTubers who actually mostly do editing. So they actually edit content for others, be it other VTubers or just other content creators in general. And like I mentioned before, there's not just VTuber, but some people use things like VStreamer, VSinger. You might hear PNG tuber, which is usually when someone who is not rigged yet, which is so me moving around is called rigged or rigging. We'll get into that a little bit later. But a PNG tuber is a term that gets used. So, for example, our dear friend in MLC, which is the group that I'm in, Ren, he is currently a PNG tuber. So he has artwork that he's drawn, but it doesn't move around like this. So, there's lots of different ways to do it. And like you have people that have, like, there's more technology as time goes on where people get more creative with it. So even if it's not rigged, they can still move around in other ways. So you've heard some of these terms already that I talked about. So rigger or rigging and live 2D. So live 2D is the application. I'm jumping back and forth because we've seen a little bit of this, but live 2D is the application used to make me move, and it's done by a rigger or rigging, and we usually call that our papa. So our papa is usually the person who does the rigging, and our mama is usually the person who does the art. So it's sometimes both people are so both people are like both roles are done by the same person. That person's wrist is probably very sore from all the drawing and rigging, but some people could do both. Some people only do one or the other, and it's a lot of skill that goes into it. And like I said, I have some demos afterward to show you the kind of layering and things like that, because the way stuff has to be drawn for VTubers is very different to if you were just to draw an illustration. Because if I were to stay very still, obviously you only have to draw the bits that you see, but because I'm moving, they have to draw extra so that it doesn't have like weird gaps in my arms and things like that, because otherwise it won't have that overlap, and you have to like draw. You basically have to draw over everything, but you also have to split bits and pieces apart because of the way the software works to actually make sure that it doesn't look too funky. So we talked about indie and corpo. So corpo is agency VTubers. Indie is like me, an independent VTuber. You might have heard the term debut. It's often used for like idol stuff as well. Usually what happens is when someone is starting out, they will have a debut and they'll have, depending on how they want to do it, you might have a lot of stuff happening. So you might have so Zane, for example, when she did basically like a 2.0 debut, she had like a music video of an original song. She had a lore video, so there was like some illustrations drawn and then some animation and some music. And some people don't do that. Some people don't debut. They just start streaming and go on from there. It's all very personal preference on how you want to do things. So originally when I started streaming, so I've been streaming for over 2 years now, I actually started with a very different model. Back in June, I changed this model. I had a debut of this model, this name, this design, and I did things like a lore video, and I had like a couple extra bits and pieces. So, but Zane did like a lot more. Zane did a lot of stuff. She went really ham. So there's a lot that goes into it. But again, it's all very personal preference, and also what you can afford to, because that sort of stuff is kind of expensive, even if you happen to be able to draw stuff yourself. If you've heard Oshimark, it's basically like the fan mark you can get. So for me, mine is a sunflower and an hourglass. I will show you why. Because if I scooch up here so you can see me here, I'm just gonna, it's a bit cold, but I will go take my jacket off. But you can see I've got an hourglass here. So that's why mine is. And the reason it's a sunflower is because of this. So let me move back down. Let me put the sunflower away. And so this is all stuff that's like programmed through the application to actually get up and running. So there's like so many terms. I couldn't write them all down here or we'd be here forever. But, you know, there's like a couple of things you might have heard here and there. Even if you're not familiar with VTubers, if you've seen stuff online, you might have seen some of these terms pop up because there is a big intertwining of anime culture and VTuber culture, because it's a lot of it is one and the same. So like I was talking about with corporate versus indie, so I've got a couple of examples here. So this is HoloLive and HoloStars is the two on the right. Yes. So the one that's like very purple and pink, and then the pink Reaper next to him. So they're from HoloLive and HoloStars, which are like the same company, just different branches. And then the two on the left, so you might have seen this guy running around. There's a couple people who've been cosplaying as him, and also the girl there as well. So they're from Niji-Sanji. So it's just like an example, like, you know, familiar faces. I've seen a couple of this guy running around as well, although they weren't wearing his coat, probably because it's like 100 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And here we go. We've got some indie VTubers. So there's Zane, there's me, there's DM. This is her outfit from before. And I just grabbed another example. So his name is Shoto. He's another very big indie VTuber that you might have seen around. He has some really fun designs too. So yeah, there's like a couple of different examples, but genuinely endless amount of VTubers. If you have a particular preference for like a design, like the kind of games someone plays or the kind of content, you are spoiled for choice, especially in 2023. There's so many choices nowadays. Now, I mentioned Live 2D. I am a 2D VTuber. So this is 2D. I can't turn around in all 3 dimensions. There are a lot of YouTubers that do use 3D. I had a 3D model for my previous model. I don't currently have one because it's expensive and I have no money. This one took all my money away. My wallet is gone. So maybe eventually I'll have one, but we'll see. It is very fun because you can do a lot of stuff between the two. Both have like their pros and cons. Some have both. Some did have both, and then they decided to change their designs because they're a madman. But it's all, you know, it's all again based on preference. So I'm using what's called VTube Studio. It's a really powerful program. We actually started out with a couple of different programs and that did VTuber type content, but VTube Studio has actually turned out to be one of the strongest because the developer, who's like super passionate about VTubers and giving us the ability to do some crazy stuff has worked really, really hard to make the program as good as possible. And it's always improving. Like the stuff that I can do now is not stuff I could do 2 years ago. And there's stuff that I can do that I can't do right now that's been available for a while, but I don't have the money or the people with the skills to do it, because there's like really crazy stuff with like hand tracking and like finger tracking. At the moment, this only tracks my face. 3D models, you can get a lot more tracking with like face, fingers, body, and things like that. So and so with 2D, it's a little bit harder because there's like the one big one, and then the others have it as well, but not really as good. Like the programs are not as developed as much. They can't put that kind of resources in. So 2D is a little bit restricted in that way, but there's other benefits for it. So other like we have the ability to program a lot more things. We can actually integrate with a lot of different other applications, and I'll show off one of those a little bit later. That is very easy to integrate. It's a little bit easier to use than 3D can be, but 3D does have a very large range of options when it comes to software or motion capture, and things like VR chat, for example, or like VR things in general. Like you can do stuff with a 3D model in a 3D space you just can't do with a 2D. But it's all really fun. It's all good. It's that's why some people have both, because they kind of want to be able to do two different things. And some people have multiples of each, which is very impressive. And I wish I had their wallets because I would like to have like cool things, but I had to restrict myself, so I didn't do too many things this time around. But yeah, here we go. We're talking about some 2D pros. So there's also less equipment needed. So I don't know if you've ever seen the kind of stuff that goes into 3D motion capture at all. So usually that requires lots of trackers. There's lots of cameras up everywhere, things like that. It's a lot. It's a lot to try and deal with. But 2D doesn't really need that. 2D, basically, you need like a webcam or a phone, and you can go ahead and do a lot of this tracking. And then the rest of it is like programmable. So things like my ears, like you saw, and things like this, with like my hands and my jacket. So these sorts of things are all really quick. I have a Stream Deck here that's like plugged in to deal with stuff. And it's also 2D is very popular, so there's a lot of artists that work with 2D. So you have a lot of choice when it comes to style, price, skill. If you're looking for something a little bit like if you're looking for something a little bit less expensive and a little bit like different in terms of like the style, you have lots of choices. And like I was saying, the software is always being really improved, and lots of work is put into it. So there's always something really cool that you can do. So there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot you can do, and there's just a lot of options in that. But on the other hand, the problem with 2D is that it is very expensive. Some models have been reported to cost over $10,000. This model, it was several thousand altogether. It was very expensive. The thing is, I had a very specific style I wanted, and I had a very specific type of rigging that I wanted. And because of that, I had to put more money into it. Understandably, you want to pay your artists, and you want to make sure that they get paid fairly, especially because they probably need a lot of medical bills to look after their wrists from all the drawing and all the rigging and all that. So this was kind of expensive, but this is my day job is a full-time work, and I could afford it as a full-time adult. So that was what I did, and that is what I put my free spending money into. But not everyone can do that. So I do say it's expensive, but you do get free resources. You can get cheap resources. They're just not necessarily as customizable. Sometimes, I say sometimes because sometimes you can, but they can be. This is mine. This design is mine. No one else can have this. This is mine. This is me. No one else has the files but me. No one else has the rights to it but me, because this is mine and I paid for it. But you can get ones that are like shared. So you can have one that, for example, I can show you. So give me 1 second. I'll actually load up a model for you. So These are models that come with the software itself. So I'll just I'll load in Hiyori. I'm in a collab. Hold on 1 second. I didn't quit the collab screen from the other day. All right, let me fix this. Let me see here. So we can switch to like this one, for example. Hello. I'm now a cute schoolgirl. And yeah, I can do things. Tee. And the thing is, you can actually do some really cool stuff with, like, this is like one of the base models. You can buy like for like $5, $10 cheap models that you can customize. I'll give you an example. So give me 1 second. You guys can't see what I'm doing in the background. I should actually let me actually show you how I'm doing this so you can kind of see some of the crazy stuff that happens. Game capture. I'm just editing stuff in OBS, don't mind me. Okay. Yep, and then this. Okay. All right. Now you can see in the actual program itself. So you can see there's lots of different pieces here. We actually need, where am I? Not this one. I need here. So there's lots of different things. Is this not the right one? Hold on. No. Yes, maybe. I'm forgetting where things are. Here we go. So you can actually go in here and customize model. So let's do customize this one. So what this one does, ignore that, is see how this is all lining up. That's very cursed. So for example, if I click on this, and we can double check this, the right ones. So it's like the hair, right? So watch this. If I do this, and then if I want to, I can actually do this. Okay. And then, this is like all different little parts. But now I can make her a redhead if I want to. So this is free. I can use this as a redhead model if I really wanted to. Is it this one? Oh my god. I didn't realize this had so many hair pieces. So you can actually go around and change that. Let's actually jump out of that. And let me jump back into my model because I can show you a little bit more easily one that I already have set up. So my model's large, so it has to take a little bit to load. All right. So we're here, right? Now, my hair, normally red, right? But if I do this, this is something that I had set up. But now what I can do is, if we go back into here, we go customize, and we can just sit here. It's gonna take a bit. I'm gonna have to scoot me over so I can see. But now I can make my hair any color I want. Hold on, I can never find the right things. Okay, where are we? That's the face. You click on the little eyes here to see. Okay, it's this one. So top 8. So if I wanted to have like pink bubblegum pink hair, I can, like this. And now I have a cool, I can have like a cool little thing here that is just like this color. And it's really cool too because you can actually just copy paste from the last time. So I can have like a really cool pink streak in my hair if I want. And the way I've set this up, if I hit OK, is I can just do this. Yeah. Or the other really cool thing is too, so if I go to, no, not this one. If we go in here and expression editor, so you can do things like you can see all this here. So this is all the bits and pieces for like my model. So if I go, for example, and I do, I'm going to zoom in a bit so you guys can see a bit better. So you got like this, right? Like different, like I have different expressions. And what this does, you can actually combine things. So for example, let's create a new expression. And we'll look for, oh god, there's so many different things. So we go angry, and you can slide this all the way up. But we can also do this one. And I can make this its own thing, so it's like really customizable and that way. And you can do this for any model that has like these little special things and like the different options in them. You can just kind of do whatever you want. So let me go back to here and let me just hide this so you guys can see again. There we go. I can do a lot more demonstrations with 2D just because I have a 2D model, but there's a lot of cool stuff with 3D as well. With continuing on with this, so other cons is that it's not an easy skill to learn yourself. If you want to draw a rig, there are some people who do that, like I mentioned, but they usually do it for other people. Some people do it for themselves, but it takes a long time, and those people tend to be like unsatisfied with it and then go on again, and that's part of their process. Like they get to enjoy redoing and recreating, improving their art each time they go on. And most only do face tracking, so like this. There are some that does like hand tracking. I don't have hand tracking because, again, like I said, it's expensive and it's kind of a little bit fiddly to set up, but it's not super common. For 3D, there's lots of resources. So for me, right, I can take off this jacket, right? I can do this as many times as I want, but the outfit won't change other than this. For 3D, if with a little bit of know-how, you can actually make your own outfit and then just slap it over the model. You can buy outfits very easily. So if you want to do like a summer version where it's like you're wearing like like a rubber donut, like a floaty donut, or like you want to put like a swimsuit on, you can do that. It's a lot easier to do that. It does have lots of software that you can learn with, so you can learn a lot of new skills. Obviously, some of it's still very difficult to learn. Like Blender is very overwhelming the first time you use it, but it's something that is a bit more accessible than things like Live 2D, because Live 2D is very, very, very difficult as an application. And obviously, it's more tracking, so you can do more physical type interactions. So you can do things like you can have people running around in a room versus being stuck on the corner here like I am. The only downside is, like I said, which is like a pro of 2D, is that 2D doesn't need a lot of equipment. 3D can require a lot of equipment. And for example, if you want to do anything that's with VR, you have you want to do like motion tracking. You've got like things on your desk to track your hands and all that. It'll oftentimes require more physical space since you're obviously doing a more physical thing. And there has been instances where software actually stops being updated. So there are some tracking motion capture software for 3D that doesn't get updated anymore because it's no longer obsolete. The person's not working on it anymore. So you kind of have to weigh up what you're going to do in those instances. Why do people be VTubers? Some people don't want to use face cams. I don't want to use a face cam. I would much rather do this. I can do whatever I want. I can stream without pants if I don't want to. Which is great. It's hot sometimes. Can you imagine just not having to wear pants when you're like talking to like 50 people? It's great. They'll never know. Privacy is also a big thing, and anonymity. I mean, I've been walking around the convention, and you guys don't know what I look like whatsoever. But I've been around. I've been in the dealers. There's actually someone who I noticed they were taking a photo, and they don't know I'm in the background, but I am. And you can do some really creative things that you can do with VTubing that you can't always do with IRL stuff. Especially things like there's a program, and I can't say what it's called, but I can spell it out. It's called the Twitch Integrated Throwing System. So it's TITS. And what happens is you integrate it with the program that I'm using, and you can actually get stuff thrown at you, and your model interacts with that. It's expensive, and a lot of software and hardware might be needed, but it can be really fun. And it can be a difficult learning curve. Even getting a new model, like I've had to tweak a bunch of stuff after my debut of my new model. And I'm still tweaking stuff now. Like I still have stuff that I have to add. Like there's stuff that I have to adjust in terms of what I'm doing. You also have to learn, I didn't write this down, but something that's really interesting is you have to learn how to puppet. You have to learn how to be able to puppeteer the model. Because if you just sit like this and talk like this the whole time, like the model's not moving, right? But if you actually you have to move around and you have to open your mouth. So you have to learn a new way of moving yourself to actually make it interesting so that you're not just, stuck in one spot. Just saying that, don't question when I'm playing Apex. I'm very in high concentration, so I'm usually just like talking like this and doing like this. But that's usually just Apex. I promise. Some things to consider if you are thinking about being a VTuber, or maybe you have someone that you like that is a VTuber, and you don't really think about, the kind of stuff that they have to deal with. It's actually really hard work. It's content creation. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. Like other YouTubers, like people who are on Twitch, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It is very tiring sometimes. So if you're thinking about doing it, go for it. Make sure to try it before you actually spend money on models. You could get like some art maybe of a character, but don't do what I did. I've been doing this for a few years, and this is something that I really enjoy. So I knew that this is what I wanted to do. If I was just starting out, when I was just starting out, actually, I did spend money on a model, but it was a much smaller amount. It was a much smaller amount. I didn't get much done with it, just so I could see if it was something that I wanted to do. Because I'd done streaming before, but not to the extent that I'm doing it now as a VTuber. Time management's hard. Who likes doing 10 jobs at once? Raise your hands. Not me. I have to edit my videos. I have to do all the tech support for my videos, be it streaming or actual like putting stuff up. Like doing things like highlights is usually myself. Sometimes I'll get an editor, but then that costs money. And then it's things like, organizing collabs, doing things like posting on social media, fixing the spelling mistakes when you post on social media, because I did that just before. I am a real content creator. Woohoo. But yeah, like it's a lot. Time management and taking on a lot of roles is very time consuming. So if you see someone who streams a lot but they don't talk a lot on social media, they probably just don't have time. Or vice versa. Maybe they're someone who doesn't have a lot of time IRL, so they use Twitter a lot, for example. I'm not calling it X. Twitter a lot to try and get that reach, because reach is really hard too. Like I've been doing this for a while, and I'm still a small content creator. I'm obviously very appreciative of what I have, and everyone's come here to listen to me ramble on, and there's like people online and all that. But it can be disheartening sometimes if like you put a lot of effort into something and like there's and no one shows up, right? It's one of those things that you kind of have to be mindful of and worry about when doing this. But maybe you're just doing it for fun. That's fine too. Like you got to find what you want to do with it and be mindful of that. So and a lot of it is luck too. So you might get lucky and something might just pop off. You might get lucky and be invited to a convention, to be sitting here very far away from home talking to a bunch of really cool people. Weird things happen. Who knows? But on top of like convention stuff that I was talking about just then, and things that reach, networking is really hard and socializing is really hard. I've been talking for nearly 2 hours straight between the autograph panel and this. Obviously talking to everyone here, talking to everyone who came to the autographs, saying hi and meeting new people online, trying to meet other VTubers, looking to try and organize collaborations with people, trying to get people to say yes to a thing or be in the right time zone, and waking up at 6 a.m. to be on a collab and things like that. So there's a lot that goes into all that as well. So it's a lot. And then I haven't seen this as a problem for me personally very much, but sometimes people can be a little bit too passionate, if I put it nicely. Basically, sometimes people don't recognize boundaries, and if you are not familiar with having to put boundaries in place, that can be very hard. So that's just something to keep in mind. Social media is struggling right now, like with Twitter, and then you've got things like Threads, you've got Instagram, you've got I guess Facebook. Does anyone use Facebook anymore? And all these different things. So you kind of have to pick and choose how you're gonna, use social media to kind of, be on a platform. Because the thing is, if you don't post online in more than one place, it's going to be very hard for people to find you, right? So that's why if VTubers really appreciate when other people post about them, because obviously that goes out to more people. There's like some people who are fans will do things like they'll do clips and they'll do highlights and they'll post it, and that gets more reach. So there's lots of different ways to get reach, but some of it's reliant on yourself, some of it is reliant on others. It's like word of mouth, all that. So it's a lot that happens, and some of it is very hard to actually get happening unless there's that luck factor, or like a lot of people, like you get a lot of people's attention and things like that. Physical and mental health is also something that can be difficult. If you hear a lot, especially lately, a lot of like bigger VTubers, bigger content creators talking about things like burnout, or you might have heard often people talking about numbers and like negative feedback and things like that. So it's something you have to be very mindful of, because it can be very, very difficult. There's actually some people I know who are actually doing some I'm trying to think of the word. They're doing some writing at the moment talking about VTubing and headspace when it comes to jealousy and struggling with the idea of like, oh, my friend has like 100 more viewers than me, but we started at the same time. What am I doing wrong? Why did they get that? Why did they get all that attention and not me? And you kind of have to work through stuff that might happen, and it'll happen. Like, you get jealous of friends. Like, a friend gets to go to a concert that you really wanted to go to because they got tickets and you didn't. It's pretty human, right? So it's just like one of those things that you have to consider, because it's very prominent in this space. And then you also have to worry about corporate VTubers as well, in the sense that you see these people who've just started out and they will get like 100,000 people that follow them. They'll get 200,000 people like within like a day, whereas you've gotten maybe like 2 people that have followed you this month. That stuff can be disheartening, but they have branding, they have resources behind them, and it can be hard, but you got to kind of like make sure to remember that it's a very different environment than independent. If you're an independent VTuber, if you're an agency VTuber, then you can like jump in and do that too. Like you can be part of that branding and things like that if you're an agency VTuber, but you have to go through like auditions. There's like an audition process to get the job, and you have to do like a lot of stuff, and then there's even more things to consider on that side. I can't really comment on that because I'm not an agency VTuber and I haven't been one, so I can't really say to the back end of what they do. I just know that there's a lot of stuff that they have to do. So I'm going to have a drink because my throat is a little dry. So like I said, sometimes you have to get lucky, but it's more important to build a happy community, have people enjoy your content, have people that want to come talk to you to your streams, or people that just sit there and lurk in the background. That's also fantastic when that happens too. Creativity can be draining after a while. Like I said, burnout is a big thing. And depending on your goals and circumstances, you might have to stream even if you don't feel 100%. So agency VTubers will often have to stream regardless because they have like a quota they have to fill, or maybe you agree to like a sponsorship that you have to do, or maybe that like you're getting really good numbers at the moment. If you take a break, that might drop. So you would think, oh, well, I have to keep streaming. So it's just one of those things that you have to do. It's like a job. Sometimes it's like a job. It depends on what you're doing, right? If you are streaming it like it's a job, then you have to treat it as like a job. You can call in sick, but you only have so many sick days if you're going to work, right? So it's kind of the same thing, even if you are your own boss. Sometimes it's not the best thing to be your own boss. Sometimes it sucks because you can't really like go and complain to your boss because you are the boss. Other really important things to consider: if you are a person within a minority, it will be harder. The internet kind of sucks. If you are someone part of the LGBTQI plus community, if you are a person of color, if you are someone who has a disability, all these kinds of things, some religions as well, these are things that can make it harder. It doesn't make it impossible, but it does make it harder. At 5 o'clock, I'll actually be having a panel with other LGBTQI plus VTubers, and we'll be talking about that more in depth. So if you would like to, do come to that. That one will be more so focused on LGBTQI plus, but it's just something to really keep in mind, especially with how cruel the internet has been lately I guess in the world in general, but especially because of VTubing and VTubing is on the internet. The internet has been a very cruel place sometimes. So it's just something that is worthwhile to keep in mind. Like I mentioned before about jealousy, it's something that you will have to think about as well. It's also not for everyone. You might go, oh, I want to do this. And then you go, actually, I hate this. This sucks. Some people have done that. I've seen people who have spent like $5,000 on a model. They streamed for like 2 days and they said, I actually don't like this. I'm going to stop. Now you're out like $2,000. So, or $5,000. Oh, 5 minutes. Oh, I've been talking too much. Okay, I'm going to speed up. How much of my thing do I have left? Okay, I've got a few more slides and then I'm going to show you some stuff. And the other thing is you have to worry about people being disrespectful. You have to, like, again, boundaries. You have to, enforce things with rules, or people are just very rude in general. I haven't had anyone be rude here today or the entire convention, which is always nice. But you never know. Someone might be mean. If you are a streamer and you decide to stream, regardless of if you're VTuber or not, don't tolerate those kind of people. Just kick them out. It's not worth having them in your stream, even if they're the only person there. If someone comes in and they see someone being rude or like saying like really awful stuff, they're not going to want to stay, right? Better to get rid of them. I've had to do this a few times. It's usually people who are trying to get like attention. People being like, oh, but what if I gave you like $500? Would you pay attention to me then? While I'm talking to them in chat. Or they're like, oh, well, you don't, like, are you a boy or a girl? And things like that. Like, it's like stuff that that people shouldn't be asking. So it's just something you have to be mindful of. VTubing is hard work, but it's fun. I like doing it. And like I said, if it's not for you and you just want to be a fan or you're just interested, totally fine. Please don't spend thousands of dollars on a model if you haven't done streaming. Like I said, it's not worth it. You can get art of your favorite character, like your favorite like design. You can like make a character. All good. Just don't spend lots of money if you haven't tried it. I promise you, it's worth trying first before you do that. It's a great way to make new friends. If you're not interested in like hardcore like job type stuff for VTubing, great way to make new friends. Great way to learn a hobby. I've learned how to do video editing. I've been learning Blender. I've been learning After Effects. So much stuff because of it, and I'm really happy that I did it. So yeah, and VTubing is what you make it. So you, like I said, you could do whatever you want, and there's just there is something for everyone. All right, tech more demo stuff. I have to be quick because I was talking too much. I apologize. Is there any questions, by the way? No one's come up, so I'm just not sure. While I'm getting this ready, is there any questions? No? Okay. All right, I'm gonna show off. Let me move so you can see me better. Whee! Sorry, I do adjust. Okay. Can you see me? Okay, you can see me. Cool. All right, so like I said, jack it off. Jack it on. I can do things like I can put my hair down. So this is all stuff that's been programmed. I can do things like this. I can do things like this. And I'll zoom back in so you can see my face again. Hi. You don't get to see anything else. You just see me now. I have things like you saw the tears, right? But watch this. I also have things like this. So this is all stuff that I asked for that I could have for my model. Or things like, you guys like me, right? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, good. I even have things like, you ready? And I have like a pout. Because yeah, this is all stuff that I asked for my model. And then if I scoot back up here, so like you saw before, you saw the sunflower, right? Oh, hold on. There we go. Sunflower, right? But I can also turn my necklace on so it glows. And if I don't want the sunflower, I also have a rose. And see how this all moves? This is all stuff that that I've asked for and done for the thing. Oh, and I have this too. Hi. I can see you guys a bit more clearly now. All right. Let me scooch back over here, and then we're going to hide this, and I will show you quickly. So let's have a look at this. So as you can see here, see over on the side that's got all the dots, All these dots is all the programming. And if you have a look here, I'm going to scoot back a little bit. So you can see how this is. So this is, I'm going to, let me move some out of the way. I'm going to scoot down here. So this is my papa working on all the different things. So you can see all these little dots moving. All of this is stuff that he had to set up. So all these little dots, all of them, this is all stuff that he's had to set up. And then we have this one, and you can see a bit more here. See all these dots? All of this. He's had to make all of this work. Look at it all. Crazy, right? Like, there's so much different things. So you can see, like, the little motion bit here. Like, a lot of work goes into VTubing models being made, especially for Live 2D and 3D too. But like for Live 2D, all the programmable stuff is crazy, because otherwise it wouldn't look natural with all this, right? And then I've also got, where is it? This here. So this is actually my model. So this is actually the art from my model. See on the right hand side here. See all this? Watch me open this up. I'm just waiting for it to go through. Hold on, I might need to go back here. Oh, hold on, wrong one. I'm flipping the wrong one. Here we go. So, watch this, right? So this is my model. This is in Clip Studio Paint because this is what I've got. So this is my arm, and then look at all this. So you can see how I was talking about how it all has to break apart. So this is all individual pieces. So we are lots of bits and pieces all stuffed together in little folders, and then little dots put us all to work.
Mika, we have a question from the audience.
Oh, yes.
Is it sometimes better to stay as a PNG tuber than getting a 3D or Live 2D?
Sometimes it can be. It depends on what you want to do. So, money-wise, if you don't have a lot of money, you can just stay with a PNG, because there's a lot of really popular streamers that started out as PNGs and stayed PNG for a very long time. So the indie example I gave earlier, Shoto, I think it was like a couple of years that he was actually a PNG. So he only recently started having a Live 2D model, and that's because he could afford it. So it's entirely up to you. And the other thing too, right, your computer might not be able to handle it. So if you have, hold on, let me show you here. Let me, okay, I have this program called Shoost. So this program here, watch what happens if I go, so this computer's not the greatest for this program, Shoost. It struggles a little bit. So I'm going to switch into Shoost. So this is the preview, right? As soon as I move into the actual program to try and do anything with it, where is it? Where am I? I'm here somewhere. Hold on. See? You don't really want this on a stream, right? This is not as cool. This is not as fun. So like, if your machine can't handle it, maybe a PNG tuber is better. You can do some cool stuff with PNG tubing. You can get like different face stuff happening, and things like that. This is a program that you can use for 2D or 3D of PNG. You can do things like, I'm gonna watch this, right? Ready? Wrong button. Oh, it's not letting me change stuff. That's very rude. Okay, it doesn't like me in here. Oh, here we go. Screen effects. So we do this. We do this. So this is all stuff you can do with like a PNG too. So this actually here. So if we ignore me in the background, this background is actually just a picture that I've added. So I could also just put another picture in. For example, we'll do this. Oh, that's me. Ignore the fact that it's like you can't see anything. Hold on, okay. And then let's put this normal, and then we'll stop this being blurry. So you can just put a picture in, but you can actually do stuff with it. So you can make it blurry. You can do things like So like there's all these really cool free tools that you can use regardless of whether or not you're live 2D, 3D, or PNG tuber. I'm gonna jump out of this so it's like less chunky. See, as soon as I jump out, it's fine. I don't know what it is with this computer, it just doesn't like schist. But there's like all these really cool things that you can use. Any other questions? No? Yes, maybe?
Doesn't look like it.
No? Okay. That's all right. I think we're at time anyway. I'm sorry. I rambled for too long. I have a habit of doing that. All right. We'll finish up here then. Thank you everyone for coming. Like I said, I will have another panel at... I'm going to check my thing because my sense of time is gone. At 5 p.m. At 5 p.m., I will be talking with several other VTubers. There'll be a bunch of us here, all giving our experiences being part of the LGBTQIA+ community and being VTubers and like the pros and cons of that. And it's it's going to be a little bit more of a serious topic, but there's some really wonderful people that are going to be in there. So I'll be posting about it on Twitter after this as well. After I eat this burger that is sitting here taunting me with the delicious smell of food that I can't eat while I'm talking to everyone. Yeah, thank you so much everyone for coming. Yay! Also, there's merch at the merch table at AnimeFest if you want to go like throw money at me because I'm poor now from getting my new model. Thank you everyone. I hope it was educational.
Thank you.
Yeah.